The sun was sinking low over the raw, untamed west when Colt Maddox, one of the toughest, straight-shooting cowboys alive, rode into the outlaw-ridden border town of Rustwater, expecting another quiet job guarding a supply caravan. The last thing he expected was her. She stood at the saloon's swinging doors like she owned the wind itself, lean, fierce, wild as wildfire, with eyes that flashed like a storm about to tear through the plains. Folks whispered her name like a warning. Rhea Thornhart, a woman raised by the mountains, feared by outlaws, respected by rangers, and impossible for any man to tame. Rhea's reputation was pure thunder. She tracked bandits better than half the marshals combined, and she could shoot the wings off a crow mid-flight without even squinting. But none of that prepared Colt for the moment she stepped toward him, boots crunching on dusty ground, her untamed smile curling like she already knew what fate had written for them both. "Never underestimate a wild one," she said softly, brushing past him, and right then, Colt felt something spark inside him, a pull stronger than the desert winds. That night, the saloon erupted into chaos as a notorious gang known as the Bone Serpents stormed in, hunting for the girl with a bounty so high it could buy half the county. But Rhea didn't flinch. She flipped a table, rolled across the floor and fired first, hitting a serpent's gun right out of his hand before Colt even reached for his revolver. Shocked, Colt joined her, and together they stood back to back, exchanging fire with 12 hardened killers like they had fought as a pair all their lives. When the smoke cleared and bodies fell, the only sound was Colt's ragged breath and Rhea holstering her gun like she'd done. Nothing more exhausting than brushing her hair. That was when Colt realized the truth. She wasn't reckless, she was legendary. But the real storm came the next morning, when Rhea, who disappeared before dawn, left behind a trail of hoofprints leading into the canyon lands, a message carved into a rock with her knife. "If you want to ride with me, cowboy, you better keep up." With every stubborn bone in his body screaming to leave crazy women to the wind, Colt saddled his horse and followed her. Their journey took them through rattlesnake canyons, across rivers choked with driftwood, through ancient tribal lands where shadows whispered warnings. Every time Colt thought he understood Rhea, she did something that left him speechless. Like when she calmed a charging bull with a whisper, or when she found water in a part of the desert old ranchers swore was cursed dry. But the biggest shock came when Colt discovered Rhea's secret. She wasn't just running from the Bone Serpents. They were hunting her because she had stolen something they'd killed entire towns to find. A map etched into a silver plate revealing the hidden path to the lost Apache vault. A place said to hold gold beyond imagination. Rhea planned to return it to the tribe it was stolen from, even if she had to take on an army to do it. Colt stared at her, half in fear, half in awe. "You're insane," he muttered. She smirked back at him. "Good, otherwise life gets boring." They rode together toward the ancient canyon temple, but the serpents ambushed them at the cliffs, led by their monstrous leader. Vane Crowder, a brute, built like a mountain with cruelty carved into every inch of his face. Colt fought like a man possessed, but Rhea, she moved like lightning, flipping off rocks, firing from impossible angles, and leaping straight into danger with a smile that dared fate to strike her down. When Vane lunged at her, swinging a blade the size of a shovel, she ducked, kicked him in the chest, grabbed the silver plate, and shouted for Colt to jump. Together they dove off the cliff, into the river below, just as dynamite blew the canyon apart behind them. Dragged by the roaring current for miles, they crawled onto the riverbank, soaked, bruised, exhausted, and laughing like two fools who had just outrun death. Colt looked at her, at the wild spark in her eyes, the fire in her heart, the courage that made men tremble, and knew he was done for. "Woman, you're going to be the end of me," he said. Rhea grinned, brushing wet hair from her face. "Probably, but you'll die smiling." And in that moment, Colt didn't care about danger, gold, outlaws, or legends. He cared about her, the wild one, the storm, the impossible woman who lived like the world itself couldn't hold her down. Their story lit the West like a wildfire, whispered in saloons for years to come. The cowboy who dared ride with a woman no man could tame, and the fierce outlaw hunt that forged a bond stronger than bullets. And as Colt and Rhea disappeared into the horizon toward the next battle, the next treasure, the next storm, her voice drifted on the wind once more. Never underestimate a wild one. Viewers, if you love this wild ride and want more heart-pounding Western tales, unforgettable characters, and stories that grip you till the last breath. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Your next adventure begins with the very next video.